My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Shut In. And this review will have some spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go and watch it, then come back and watch my review because I will be going in depth. Now, this is a movie that I thought had potential to be a really good thriller, and it ended up being a perfectly fine, serviceable thriller. It is directed by DJ Caruso, who I think is a very hit or miss director. He's made some decent, entertaining movies like Eagle Eye and Disturbia, but then he's also made movies like XXX, The Return of Xander Cage, and I Am Number 4. So I didn't know what side of him we were going to get here, but I do think this is one of his better directed movies. I think it's very well shot and lit, and he does able to create some tension. It's not the most tense movie ever, but it's definitely present in select moments. So I like that about it, and I do think the cast does a really good job. This movie stars Rainey Crawley, who is the sister of Margaret Crawley, who I think deserves way more praise for her amazing work in Maid. But I guess this is just a very talented family because Rainey is also great. I think she carries this movie very well, and she hits those emotional beats she needed to hit. Then you've got Lucina Van Diet, who plays the daughter, and for a kid actress, I think she does a perfectly fine job. You've got Jake Horowitz, who's decent, and then you've also got Vincent Gallo, who's also decent. So you've got all that, and I do like how this movie evolves. It starts off with the main premise, and then they find a way to make it interesting by getting Vincent Gallo's character involved, and then they take the story out of the pantry. It just kept things moving so the movie doesn't feel complacent, and I like that about it. But that all said, this is a movie that requires the most suspension of disbelief. I like the premise for this movie fine enough of this mother who's stuck in her pantry and trying to find a way out, but the way it was set up to just left me wondering why the character didn't do anything else. Like, it's clearly set up at the very beginning of this movie that she knows that if she goes in this room and the door closes on her, she's stuck. Like, that's a major issue. And it was bound to happen. If she goes in this room all the time, it was bound to happen. It could have happened to her daughter. So the fact that she never thought about replacing the door or putting another door there or anything, or getting it fixed, you have to turn off your brain while watching it, and that happens to be the case throughout this entire movie. There's one point where the daughter is picking up the baby. There's one part where the daughter has to make baby formula for the baby and feed him. There's one point where the daughter has to change the diaper. And she somehow knows how to do all this, despite how young she is, but she still can't open the door handle? Really? Like, that is just ridiculous. It really is. And then you've got Sammy there, who is the dumbest guy ever, because she's like, I'll give you some mess if you stick your hand underneath. And he's like, why can't you just give it to me? And she's like, I can't reach. What? And he bought it? I know it's trying to show the desperation of his addiction, but it just comes across as really stupid. So Tweedledum puts his arm all the way underneath, and she stabs him. It's actually one of the better moments of the movie, but I still couldn't, the guy was still incredibly dumb. And then, as soon as she gets out, you've got this guy, Sammy, who's an evil, despicable scumbag. And she knows how evil he is. So she decides to go outside real quick and leave her kids inside the house with him. Like, you idiot. Come on. And just the fact, I always hate this trend in horror movies when the bad guy is clearly passed out and they just keep on walking, keep on acting like he isn't there. No, you took down the evil scumbag. Do something about it. Like, even if she tried to do something and then it turns out that he's awake now and he, punched her in the face and took the kids in, that would be much better. But her just leaving this guy lying down there, passed out, with her kids in the same house as him, just really, really frustrating. And you get lots of those dumb moments throughout this movie. If you turn off your brain and you just watch this movie as it goes about, you can have some entertainment from it, but it's the small stuff that makes movies great, and this movie is filled with those small, dumb moments. So it really does prevent this movie from reaching its full potential. And then the last act of this movie is just abysmal. Sammy takes the kids upstairs. She's trying to get them back. It's trying to be very tense and scary, but this is the moment where I found some of the acting to fall apart, and then the father comes in and saves the day. Why did he come in right then? I don't buy it. Feels pretty convenient. And then he's just like, oh, I saved your life. I guess we're getting back together and you're going to start doing drugs again. And then it just gets so stretched out of him trying to pressure her into doing drugs, and just this whole drug plot gets way too much attention. It works as backstory for the characters, but to make it such a big plot point of the last act was definitely a mistake. And then, she attacks him and then pushes him out the window, and I'm just like, yeah, we didn't need this. It was just there because they realized, well, she got out 20 minutes ago, we can't have an hour and 10 minutes long movie, we gotta keep this going, so they put it in it to make it feel bloated. And then I also found that none of the religious stuff worked for me at all in this movie. I know it's about rebirth and making peace with your past sins and all that, but just the way they go about it, with her finding the Bible and her grandma put $100 bills in the Bible, whatever, that doesn't really come into play, and I don't think it was needed. I don't think it added any new deals to the movie. You could have had the metaphor of rebirth without the religious aspect to it. And then I also want to say that I thought, as well shot as this movie is, I thought the sound was really bad. Like, she's behind this door, and she can hear her daughter throughout the entire house perfectly, apparently. It would have been much better if they used the fact that she couldn't hear stuff as a way to create more tension. I think they could have done some stuff there. But all my issues aside, I did enjoy this movie enough for what it is. A perfectly fine, serviceable thriller. Am I going to think about this movie in a week from now? Probably not. But while I was watching it, I was entertained enough. It does have some good moments, like when she stabs Sammy's hand, or when she sets his arm on fire. I thought that was some great stuff. I think it's well acted for the most part. It's well shot, and it just manages to be entertaining despite the issues. If you turn off your brain, you can enjoy this movie much more. If I had to compare it to another movie, I would compare it to another thriller that came out this year called No Exit. That movie is nothing new, it's nothing great, but while you're watching it, it's a perfectly fine thriller, and that's the case here. So I'm going to go ahead and give Shut-In a 5 out of 10, slightly leaning towards a positive. Okay, have you seen Shut-In? Have you ever been shut in your pantry door that locks from the inside that you could have easily taken down or replaced, but for some reason you didn't? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.